Global warming, the media and the truth. Pick the odd one out of that trifecta. Much of the media, the love media in particular, is obsessed with climate change as an issue, but it seldom troubles itself with the facts, with reality and the truth. The ABC is especially delinquent, constantly amplifying alarmism, failing to ask the central questions, and importantly, trying to give audiences the impression that this country is doing nothing on emissions reduction. So committed is the ABC to this ideological cause that even its media watchdog program enlists itself in the campaign. Here's something they put together last week.
So, what did Scott Morrison say that got the Climate Council's CEO, Amanda Mackenzie, so riled up? It was this claim that Australia is doing a fine job in the fight against global warming, but getting no credit for its work.
Australia's internal, though, and global critics on climate change willingly overlook or perhaps ignore our achievements, as the facts simply don't fit the narrative they wish to project about our contribution. Australia is responsible for just 1.3% of global emissions. Australia is doing our bit on climate change, and we reject any suggestion to the contrary.
So how did the ABC test the Prime Minister's assertion? He said Australia is doing its bit. So wouldn't you ask whether or not it's signed up to international agreements, like Kyoto and Paris? Isn't that where nations sign up to do their bit? Wouldn't policies like renewable energy targets and clean energy funds directed at meeting UN targets be doing our bit? Doesn't the ABC think the UN and its agreement are the bee's knees on this stuff? No mention of any of that from Media Watch. Instead, they went to climate change professionals and they asked another question.
More distinguished panel would be hard to find. And we asked them all, is Australia doing enough to combat global warming, as the PM maintains? And they answered...
No.
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 Doing enough on global warming? What do they mean by doing enough? Enough to change the climate? If we shut our country down and evacuated it, that wouldn't be enough to change the environment, according to the science at least. Had we closed Australia down last year, for instance, the growth in global emissions would have made up for our emissions in just 6 months and then added another Australia load of emissions before the end of the year. So just what is this doing enough the ABC was on about? The bottom line is, of course, we are doing what the UN asked us to do, which must equate surely to doing our bit. But Media Watch is not alone. Over at 9 newspapers, we get plenty of this kind of stuff. Peter Harcher wrote on the weekend under a headline that could have come from Greta Thunberg, "Political heads in the sand, denial and inaction as the planet burns," it shrieked, as Harcher talked about our cities being swamped by the ocean and flooded by climate refugees unless Scott Morrison was forced to act. Do they really think their readers are fools? Have they all forgotten the Paris deal they once cherished? And are they really delusional enough to think that Australia can save the world on its own? The ABC's Australia Talks national survey also pushes this inaction fallacy, giving options to agree that immediate action is necessary, or that some action should be taken, or that more research is necessary before we take any action, or all of the concern is unwarranted. Terrific choice there, isn't it? You either deny the problem or you're demanding action. Recognising reality, that is, that we're already doing a lot, just what the UN has asked us to do, and perhaps that's about right, this for the ABC is not an option. Never mind it's what Australians voted for just 5 months ago in a federal election. The media, global warming and the truth. One day, let's hope they become acquainted.